Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're hearing the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any section using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Foundations of Pragmatics in Discourse Analysis. The integration of pragmatics into discourse analysis marks a significant evolution in the study of language use and its functions in social contexts.
Understanding this integration requires a look back at the historical background, early contributions, milestones, and the evolution of pragmatic theories within the realm of discourse studies.
1. Historical background and evolution of pragmatics within discourse studies. 1. Early contributions and the rise of pragmatics. Pragmatics, as a distinct field of study, began to take shape in the 20th century, drawing from earlier philosophical inquiries into language, meaning, and communication.
Philosophers such as Charles Morris and Charles Sanders Peirce laid foundational ideas about signs and meaning, which later influenced linguistic pragmatics.
The actual term, pragmatics, was coined by Morris in 1938, distinguishing it as the study of the relation between signs and their interpreters. The work of philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein, J. L. Austin, and H. P. Grice further enriched the field. Wittgenstein's notion of language games and the idea that the meaning of words is closely tied to their use in specific forms of life, Austin's theory of speech acts, and Grice's cooperative principle and maxims of conversation played pivotal roles in shaping the understanding of pragmatic aspects of language. 2. Milestones in integrating pragmatics into discourse analysis. The integration of pragmatics into discourse analysis has been marked by several key milestones. In the 1970s and 1980s, as discourse analysis emerged as a field concerned with language beyond the sentence level, the insights from pragmatics began to influence the analysis of larger units of language. This period saw an increased focus on how context shapes meaning, how intentions are communicated and understood, and how language functions in social interactions. One significant milestone was the application of speech act theory to the study of discourse genres, recognizing that different types of discourse, e.g., legal, political, educational, are characterized by specific sets of speech acts.
Another was the exploration of implicature in political discourse and media, examining how indirect meanings and assumptions are conveyed and interpreted. 3. Evolution of pragmatic theories with discourse analytic applications. Over the years, pragmatic theories have continued to evolve, incorporating insights from cognitive science, sociology, and anthropology. This interdisciplinary approach has expanded the analytical tools available for discourse analysis. For example, relevance theory, developed by Dan Sperber and Deirdre Wilson, built on Grice's work to provide a more nuanced understanding of how contextual factors influence the interpretation of utterances. This theory has been applied in analyzing literary discourse, humor, and irony. The study of politeness and face-saving strategies, influenced by the work of Penelope Brown and Stephen Levinson, has been crucial in understanding interpersonal dynamics in discourse, including in cross-cultural communication studies. Meanwhile, the advent of digital communication platforms has spurred new areas of research, leading to the development of digital pragmatics, which examines online interactions and the emergence of new forms of discourse. 2. Key concepts in pragmatics and their application to discourse analysis. The field of pragmatics encompasses several key concepts that are instrumental in analyzing discourse across various contexts. These concepts help unravel the nuanced ways in which language functions not merely as a vehicle for conveying information but as a complex tool for action, interaction, and the negotiation of social relationships. Below, we delve into these concepts and their specific applications in discourse analysis. 1. Speech acts and discourse. Understanding utterances as actions. In discourse analysis, speech acts theory is applied to understand how utterances function as actions.
This perspective is crucial for analyzing conversations, where saying something can perform an action, e.g., promising, apologizing. For instance, in political speeches, the performative aspect of language is central to making commitments or expressing solidarity. Performative aspects of language. The analysis of advertising discourse, where language acts to persuade and elicit consumer action, exemplifies the application of speech acts theory. Discourse analysts examine how advertisers use language not just to inform but to engage and influence the audience.
2. Context and co-text in discourse.
Role of linguistic and situational context. Context, the broader situational factors, and co-text, the immediate linguistic environment, are pivotal in shaping the meaning of discourse. Analysts explore how these elements contribute to the interpretation of texts, particularly in cases where meaning is ambiguous or relies heavily on implied knowledge. Case studies. For example, legal discourse often relies on the precise interpretation of language within a specific context.
Analyzing how ambiguity is resolved in court rulings or legislation demonstrates the importance of context in discourse. 3. Implicature and inference in understanding discourse. Beyond literal meaning, implicature involves meaning that is implied rather than explicitly stated. Discourse analysts investigate how speakers imply additional meanings and how listeners draw inferences, crucial in understanding everyday conversation, humor, and sarcasm. Strategic use in persuasive discourse. In persuasive and argumentative discourse, such as political debates or advertising, the strategic use of implicature can subtly influence the audience's perceptions and beliefs without explicit assertion. 4. Deixis in situating discourse. Anchoring discourse. Deixis involves expressions that require contextual information to be understood, e.g., this, that, here, now. Its analysis is vital in discourse that references specific times, places, or social relationships, helping to situate the discourse in a particular context. Narrative and storytelling. In narrative discourse, deixis helps create a sense of immediacy and situates the narrative within a specific spatio-temporal framework. Analyzing how storytellers use deictic expressions can reveal how they construct a vivid and engaging narrative world. 5. Politeness and face-saving theories in interpersonal discourse. Maintaining social harmony. The analysis of politeness and face-saving strategies is essential for understanding how discourse functions to maintain social harmony and respect. This includes examining how individuals navigate potentially face-threatening situations, such as apologies, compliments, or criticisms. Cultural variation. The impact of cultural variation on politeness practices is a significant area of study. Different cultures have different norms for expressing politeness and managing face in discourse. Analyzing these variations reveals how language practices are deeply embedded in cultural values and social norms. 3. Philosophical underpinnings and their influence on discourse analysis. The philosophical foundations of pragmatics play a crucial role in shaping the analysis of discourse. Philosophers like Ludwig Wittgenstein, J. L. Austin, and H. P. Grice have made seminal contributions that continue to influence the understanding of language, meaning, action, and interaction within discourse studies. Additionally, the concepts of intentionality and convention in language use offer deep insights into how meanings are negotiated in various contexts. Below, we explore these philosophical underpinnings and their application to discourse analysis. 1. Contributions of Wittgenstein, Austin, and Grice. Wittgenstein's influence. Wittgenstein's later philosophy, particularly the idea that the meaning of words is deeply intertwined with their use in the language games of specific forms of life, has been fundamental to pragmatics and discourse analysis. This perspective suggests that understanding language requires looking at how it functions within specific social activities and practices, making it pivotal for analyzing discourse across different contexts. Austin's speech act theory. Austin introduced the concept that utterances could perform actions, termed speech acts. In discourse analysis, this theory helps elucidate how language functions to do things,
e.g., promise, order, apologize, rather than merely describe states of affairs.
Austin's framework has been instrumental in analyzing how particular types of discourse, such as legal language or political speeches, employ specific speech acts to achieve their ends.
Grice's cooperative principle. Grice's work on the cooperative principle and conversational maxims provides insights into how speakers and listeners rely on shared norms to make conversational implicatures, implied meanings that go beyond the literal interpretation of words. This concept is crucial in discourse analysis for understanding how meaning is often negotiated beneath the surface level of communication.
2. Application to real-world discourse. Analyzing political rhetoric to uncover how implicatures and speech acts persuade or manipulate audiences.
Examining legal discourse to see how the precise use of language performs legal actions, like convicting or acquitting.
3. The role of intentionality and convention in meaning.
Intentionality in discourse. The concept of intentionality, the idea that speakers have intentions that they seek to convey through language, is central to understanding discourse. Discourse analysts explore how speakers' intentions shape the construction of messages and how these intentions are interpreted, or misinterpreted, by listeners. This exploration is key in contexts where the speaker's intent and the literal meaning of words may diverge. Conventional meanings within communities. Convention plays a significant role in how meanings are established and recognized within specific communities. Discourse analysts investigate how certain expressions acquire conventional meanings that are understood by members of a community, enabling effective communication. This is particularly relevant in studying jargon, slang, or idioms unique to specific groups.
4. Case studies. Research on ambiguous political statements to uncover how intended meanings are negotiated among different audiences. Analysis of Internet memes within online communities to explore how conventional meanings evolve in digital discourse. 4. Methodological approaches derived from pragmatic foundations. The integration of pragmatic concepts into discourse analysis has led to the development of various methodological approaches that allow researchers to operationalize and analyze the nuanced ways in which language functions in context. These methodologies enable the exploration of speech acts, context, implicature, deixis, and politeness strategies, providing insights into the complex dynamics of discourse. Below, we outline how pragmatic foundations have been incorporated into discourse analysis methodologies and provide examples of research designs. 1. Incorporating pragmatic concepts into methodologies for discourse analysis. Pragmatic concepts offer powerful lenses for examining discourse, necessitating methodologies that can capture the subtleties of language use. Qualitative analysis. Many studies rely on qualitative methods to explore the pragmatic aspects of discourse, using detailed textual and conversational analysis to uncover how meanings are constructed and negotiated. Ethnographic approaches. To understand the role of context and cultural norms, some researchers adopt ethnographic methods, immersing themselves in the communities or settings they study to gain a deeper understanding of how discourse operates within specific social contexts. Conversational analysis, CA. This method is particularly suited to analyzing speech acts, turn-taking mechanisms, and the organization of talk and interaction, focusing on the detailed examination of transcribed conversations. Critical discourse analysis, CDA. CDA frameworks often incorporate pragmatic concepts to analyze how discourse reflects, reproduces, or challenges power relations and ideologies within society. 2. Examples of research designs. Operationalizing speech acts in political discourse. A study might analyze a corpus of political speeches to identify specific speech acts, e.g., promising, threatening, asserting, and examine how these acts function to achieve political goals or influence public opinion. This could involve coding speeches for different types of speech acts and analyzing their distribution and effects in various contexts. Contextual influence on news discourse. Research could focus on how the context, e.g., political climate, cultural background, influences the interpretation of news reports.
This might involve comparing news coverage of the same event across different countries or media outlets to explore how contextual factors shape discourse.
Implicature in advertising. A study might analyze a collection of advertisements to explore how they use implicature to convey messages indirectly, examining how consumers infer meanings from these ads. This could involve both qualitative analysis of ad content and quantitative surveys or experiments to assess audience interpretations. Deixis in narrative discourse. Research could investigate how deictic expressions are used in literary narratives to anchor the story in specific times and places, contributing to the reader's immersion in the story world. This might involve a close textual analysis of novels or short stories, focusing on the use and function of deictic markers. Politeness strategies in service encounters. A study could examine how politeness and face-saving strategies are employed in customer service interactions, analyzing how employees navigate potentially face-threatening situations. This could involve observing real-life service encounters or analyzing recordings, transcripts of such interactions. Conclusion. The integration of pragmatics into discourse analysis represents a significant advancement in understanding the multifaceted nature of language use and its implications in various social contexts. From its early philosophical underpinnings by thinkers like Wittgenstein, Austin, and Grice, to the development of foundational concepts such as speech acts, context, implicature, deixis, and politeness, pragmatics has enriched our approach to analyzing discourse. These concepts not only illuminate the ways in which language functions beyond its literal meaning but also how it serves as a dynamic tool for action, interaction, and the construction of social reality. The evolution of pragmatic theories within discourse studies, coupled with the application of these theories to real-world discourse through diverse methodological approaches, showcases the field's ability to adapt and respond to the complexities of human communication. The incorporation of pragmatic concepts into methodologies for discourse analysis has enabled researchers to operationalize and explore speech acts, context, and other key aspects in nuanced ways, shedding light on the subtle dynamics of discourse across different genres and contexts. Furthermore, the interdisciplinary nature of pragmatics, drawing from sociology, anthropology, psychology, and beyond, underscores the interconnectedness of language with broader social, cultural, and cognitive dimensions. This interdisciplinary approach not only enhances our understanding of discourse but also promotes a holistic view of language as a central component of human interaction in societal organization. As pragmatics continues to evolve and influence discourse analysis, it opens new avenues for exploring the intricate relationship between language, meaning, and society. The ongoing integration of pragmatic insights into discourse studies promises to further our understanding of the complex dynamics of communication, offering profound implications for linguistics, social science, and beyond. Frequently asked questions. What is pragmatics in discourse analysis? Pragmatics in discourse analysis is the study of how context affects the interpretation of language in communication. It focuses on the pragmatic aspects of language, like speech acts, implicature, deixis, and politeness, to understand how meanings are constructed and negotiated in social interactions. How did pragmatics evolve within discourse studies? Pragmatics evolved from philosophical inquiries into language by figures like Morris, Peirce, Wittgenstein, Austin, and Grice in the 20th century. These early contributions laid the groundwork for pragmatics as a distinct field, which later became integral to discourse analysis, especially in examining how context influences language use and meaning. What are some key milestones in integrating pragmatics into discourse analysis? Key milestones include the application of speech act theory to different discourse genres and the exploration of implicature in political discourse and media. These developments highlighted how pragmatic concepts could deepen the analysis of discourse across various contexts. How have pragmatic theories evolved with applications in discourse analysis? Pragmatic theories have incorporated insights from cognitive science, sociology, and anthropology, leading to an interdisciplinary approach that expands the analytical tools for discourse analysis. Theories like relevance theory and politeness strategies have been applied to understand complex interpersonal dynamics and cultural variations in discourse. What are some key concepts in pragmatics relevant to discourse analysis? Key concepts include speech acts, how utterances perform actions within discourse; context and co-text, the role of linguistic and situational context in shaping meaning; implicature and inference, how meaning is implied beyond literal expressions; deixis, how language anchors discourse in specific contexts; politeness and face-saving, how discourse maintains social harmony and respects interpersonal relationships. Can you provide examples of how these concepts are applied in real-world discourse analysis? Analyzing political speeches to see how speech acts influence public opinion. Examining legal discourse to understand how context resolves ambiguity. Investigating advertising to study strategic use of implicature. Exploring narrative discourse through deixis to enhance storytelling. Analyzing service encounters to understand politeness strategies across cultures. What philosophical contributions have influenced pragmatics in discourse analysis? Philosophers like Wittgenstein, Austin, and Grice have made seminal contributions by exploring the relationship between language, meaning, and action. Their work on language games, speech act theory, and the cooperative principle respectively, has profoundly influenced the understanding of pragmatics in discourse. How do intentionality and convention play a role in meaning within discourse analysis? Intentionality and convention are crucial for understanding how speakers convey and listeners interpret meanings within specific communities. They help analyze how discourse is constructed to reflect speakers' intentions and how conventional meanings of expressions are recognized and negotiated. What methodological approaches are derived from pragmatic foundations in discourse analysis? Methodological approaches include qualitative analysis, ethnographic methods, conversational analysis, CA, and critical discourse analysis, CDA, which incorporate pragmatic concepts to explore the complex dynamics of discourse across different settings. How are speech acts operationalized in political discourse analysis? Speech acts in political discourse are analyzed by identifying specific acts, e.g., promising, asserting, within speeches and examining their function and effects. This involves coding speeches for speech acts and analyzing how they contribute to political goals or influence audiences.